I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I talk about X-Men a lot. And this week we're talking about Avengers versus the X-Men, as we have for the previous few weeks. We're back in the mainline AVX story. Gary, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
What did you think about the Midnight Suns trailer? We need to talk about that on this podcast a little bit.
Good question. I'm pretty excited. I don't like everyone. I don't like the costumes.
Okay.
Like they look weird. I understand why whenever Marvel characters show up in a new video game, they do new costumes so they can do new toys and shit. Like, it makes sense, but I'm not super crazy about a lot of them. But I trust the developer a lot. Like, I trust Firaxis. It's based on, like, Midnight Suns is actually like a weird comic that happened, like a weird comic arc with a lot of those characters in it from the 90s that I remember reading a little bit of. It's a very weird Marvel specific like property for them to pick up.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see what they do with it. And I, again, trust the developer.
Yeah.
So pretty excited.
We've been talking about X-Men Tactics, I think, since the beginning of this podcast. And like, if this even comes close to scratching that itch, like, I think it'll be, you'll probably play it a bunch, as long as they don't fuck it up. And like, having the developer behind this, like, a well-known, like, credible developer behind this.
The Tactics.
Yeah. It's just, it makes me all the more excited for it. The only thing, and I think you and I texted about this, but like, watching the gameplay video and seeing like cards come out and like abilities based on cards, like, I just don't want there to be a thing where I have to like go home and like pick 7 cards for Magic and like, oh, but that's more points. Your cards are way too many points. You have to scale down your cards because you don't have enough action. Like, I don't want to do any of that bullshit. Just give me a skill that I can use in the middle of the game. That's all I want to do. So,
and every one of those things you're talking about are my favorite things in video games. So, like, I love build points and deck building and all of that stuff is like my favorite shit. So if it's not there, like, that's fine with me too. Like, I love just a straight up XCOM. If they've combined these two things, it is like combining peanut butter and chocolate for me. So
another thing I don't particularly like that much.
We shall see.
So.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting.
Stay tuned for really divided Watch Out for Fireballs with me and Gary. We're covering this game.
Yeah. Just to welcome to the debate zone. Cole's too polite, so we brought in a ringer.
They call me the Joe Rogan of X-Men video games.
Jeremy Rogan. Yep. And you have a ready supply of horse paste.
I do.
So
I'm ready.
If you, you could be a Joe Rogan.
Me and Autumn were actually laughing because she literally has ivermectin like in our back room because it's fucking horse drug. Like, she has it. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's not weird. She owns horses.
Yeah. It's not weird at all.
But it's weird that, like, if they got out that you had that, somebody might try to break into your house to steal your horse paste.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't want that to happen at all.
It's fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. ICUs where like gunshot victims have to wait because people who have overdosed on ivermectin can't see. They've gone blind from veterinary medicine.
I do like reading, like, people do deep dives into like Facebook, like public Facebook posts and talking about it, and like literally, I mean, child abuse of like making their kids take it, right? Like feeding it to their kids, but also like they're shitting themselves in the middle of the fucking thing because it's so bad for your body. Like, it does just horrible things to your digestive system. And I'm like, you could just, like, I was just kind of like crummy for a day after I got the vaccine. Like, that was it. That was it. I was just kind of crummy feeling. Like, you should just do that. Anyway.
The culture war is fucking wild as hell.
Bonkers, dude.
I do not understand what these idiots are scared of. Anywho,
but this isn't Avengers versus COVID. This is Avengers
I
versus
wish.
X-Men.
I can get on it, Avengers. There's still several issues of what if that we can get to, so maybe it'll show up.
What if Captain America was a Trumper?
Yeah. What if Captain America was anti? What does he think this A stands for? Anti-vax? It does. Last we left this specific series, Captain America punked Wolverine by dumping him in the Antarctic.
Yes.
And that's where we're basically going to pick up.
So
here,
the X-Men are on 5 different missions in 5 different places to try to find hope. The Avengers have also, I don't really remember how they did this, but they figured out these 5 different places too. So they're going to send their own staff. Wolverine got kicked out because he wants to kill Hope. Like that's the easiest solution to him, which is wild to me because this whole schism situation that started a lot of this split was him like, we shouldn't have these children as soldiers. Like we can't have them killing people. And having reread that recently, like I kind of get where Wolverine's coming from, but at the same time, your solution to this is to kill a teenager. Like it just seems and it's just Marvel Comics at its finest of just like, oh, we need Wolverine to be this right now. Now he's this. Now he's that. So
at the very least in this, there's a couple little notes towards him being convinced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he ends up like changing his mind, but being able to listen to reason here. And whenever I read something like this and it feels like a very abrupt character shift, I think that it is certainly possible there's something I missed.
Yeah.
Right. Like there was some development, or in his solo title, you know, he reconsidered or something. I don't know. The opening of this is very funny because we see a polar bear walking towards a can of beer, being a trail of beers being led somewhere. And it turns out it's Wolverine wearing a polar bear skin.
Oh, real quick. I want to go back one page because it shows you all of the places where people are and like the Avengers team versus the X-Men team. I just want to call out that it's very funny that Toad gets his own special place of honor. He's the only one at the Jean Grey School of Higher Education right now.
They have to remind you that he's here because he's important.
He's important in this book
for some reason.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring us back. I just wanted to point that out, and I forgot to do it. So,
man, that probably is a nice time for Toad.
Yeah,
like if I did janitorial work, my favorite time would be like when no one is around.
Oh man, right? You know? Like a fucking a crossover event that doesn't involve the Xavier School getting fucking shut down or blown up by the Juggernaut. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to some audiobooks and catch up on my mopping. You know, like it's gonna be great. Wolverine though, he's following this trail of beers.
Yes.
In the snow. He's being led to a Quinjet, or to a Blackbird rather. Here, and it turns out this is Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Hope's not in any of the 5 places. She punked everybody.
Yep.
And she is lured Wolverine here with beers, which is very funny. We cut over to kind of what else is going on.
And this is
before this meet.
This is where we get really confused because if a couple of days ago or in the same session we were doing Avengers 26, which kind of shows some of this, but also doesn't show it. This just seems in a very weird spot because like this seems like the first time they encountered the Phoenix where everybody got their asses handed to them, and not the second time where Thor goes back and gets a little Phoenix energy in the containment suit, because he's not even wearing the containment suit here. So extremely confusing to me what's happening right now.
I don't know what the point of cutting over to that is.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that Thor hitting her Phoenix with a hammer is what makes Hope's hands get like Phoenix energy for a second here. Like they're trying to show us that this is happening concurrently, but if so, like that doesn't make a lot of sense. The timeline is all over the fucking place.
Exactly. Yeah.
In this.
So we see that, and then we switch back over to Antarctica, where Hope convinces Logan about the same way that anybody convinces Logan to do anything, by offering him beer and saying like, hey, I just need a minute to convince you of everything. And it kind of runs through the recap and is like, hey, you think that I can't handle this. The Avengers think I can't handle this, but what if they're wrong? And isn't your whole school about giving people a second chance, about giving them the opportunity to learn before you just absolutely murder them? Deserving the chance to actually try. And that kind of works for Wolverine as we see this right now, right?
Yeah, he's saying, she's saying like, I recognize that I could be wrong, so I want you there. Like if I can't control it, kill me, but at least give me a chance to try. Which it's ridiculous that she has to try to convince Wolverine of this.
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine is just like, I'm going to do it before even the Phoenix shows up. Like it's not like he hasn't killed Jean Grey when Jean Grey is Phoenixing out, and just him being like, we have to do it well ahead of time. This is a little bit weird.
Well, it's really frustrating because like they're concurrently right now, like he's in, Uncanny X-Force murdering the shit out of people before they cause problems to the mutant race. Like that's their whole vibe. Like that we spot problems, we go murder them. And at the same time, he's at Wolverine and the X-Men, where he's the headmaster of the entire fucking school, and he teaches class, and he's being real friendly and all of that stuff. So like which day are you getting Logan? Is he going to be the bloodthirsty monster that needs to kill problems before they happen, or the soft headmaster that wants to give people second chances, including like Apocalypse and there's another like kind of weird bad person in there. I can't remember who it is, but it doesn't matter. Omega, Quinn.
Yeah. They even talk about that here. Like, she bought beer because Kid Omega has been making fake IDs.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just really frustrating because it's just a symptom of like Wolverine being in everything. Like, he's popular, so they put him in everything and they have him doing a bunch of different stuff. So it's when it comes down to a serious conversation, you're like, oh, who knows what the fuck that dude's gonna do? Like, it's just up to the whims of editorial.
His characterization ends up being kind of all over the place. And again, there's stuff that we haven't read, but it is very dependent on what book he's in. She's going to take a nap, which is a plot convenient nap.
Yes.
And she's like, my plan, we need a bigger ship. I'll tell you more once we get there. You fly. Cut over to Scott and Emma Frost, where Emma Frost, I did not know she could do this, but takes over Janitor Toad, makes him go put on Cerebro, which like, if you had Toad using Cerebro on your bingo card, congratulations. Because that feels like a long con X-Men bet to me.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't really care about like lore or anything, but I've always kind of thought you had to have some telepathic ability to use the Cerebro. Like, I didn't think just any motherfucker could go put that bad boy on and become, super powerful or whatever. So,
well, if they're being driven by Emma Frost, apparently.
But you would expect, I mean, like, some latent talent. Like, I don't know why this picks at my like lore sensibilities where I'm like, he's not even telepathic, Gary. God damn it.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's if you could use Cerebra remotely, why do you ever go to it? If you could just drive Toad into it, this should be Toad's full-time job. Why do you have him mopping the floors instead of a Roomba?
Look, 2020 and 2021 proved we could all work from home. Why do we have to drive to Cerebra?
She uses it to check in on all the fights that are going on, looking for hope. The X-Men had been cut off from this technology for a while, so they couldn't do this before. And we get to see these like just little 1-page splashes of X-Men fighting Avengers, these different places where I assume we'll see these fights more.
Yes. In various different books, I'm sure. Yeah.
There's really nothing, useful, to seeing it now. Like, we're not getting a lot of information from it. They're just kind of monologuing as this happening. It's a preview for cool action we're going to see eventually.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. Like, I'm excited to see it. What she's looking for was hope, but she's also looking for Captain America to read his mind and see what he knows, and she happens to log into Captain America at the exact time that Tony Stark has found hope.
Yes.
Here. So thus giving her the info.
And
we get one panel of Captain America slamming his shield into Gambit's face.
Very fun.
Which I like.
I also like Magic just hitting Ant-Man. I think that's very funny.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's very good. And yeah, so he has found hope, which means that they know where hope is, and it's time for everybody to group up. Meanwhile, Wolverine and Hope have landed at AIM World Works. This is Advanced Idea Mechanics. These are some bad guys. They are there to steal a spaceship and for Wolverine to blow off some stress by murdering a bunch of innocent people. I feel really bad about these AIM guys after watching the MODOK show on Hulu because
they'll seem pretty nice.
Yeah, they're all just hapless idiots. Like, they just really just want to be kind of, they all just seem like fucking 24 to me from Venture Brothers. And I just, it's a shame that Wolverine has to murder so many of them at once.
He does gut stab a lot of them, not just murder them, but murder them in a very painful way.
It's going to hurt the entire time they are dying. So,
yeah, and he did it on purpose. The event, they spare one of them to set him up on a rocket, to go to the moon.
Yep.
And that's the big plan. Like, she says she wants to go to the moon as part of her plan. And they show up. They get to the moon. We luckily moved through this very quickly. I feel like if Bendis was writing this comic, like, we spent forever in space, just, panoramic shots, but we just get there. When we get there, Hope's like, I can feel it. All we have to do is wait. And then, Captain America and the Avengers are standing behind her and are like, actually, we're going to complicate your plans.
Yep.
It turns out Logan narked on her.
Yeah. He has this
he's like, of course I did.
He has this weird line in here. Is this a quote? where he says a little closing of the
one?
eyes, a little folding of the hands, and wolves will come in and devour all that you have.
Yeah, it has to be.
Because, I mean...
Otherwise, it's real weird. You even work... Is that off the dome, Logan? Or...
Yeah. I'm not saying your freestyle is pre-written, but that sounds pre-written.
Yeah. Yeah. Logan has probably been around the block long enough to not bring, to bring pre-written lyrics to his freestyle.
Can't believe he came to the Cypher with
he
pre-written.
just cares about winning at any means necessary.
Oh, he's quoting Proverbs.
Oh, got you. Because we know that because we know the Bible.
Yeah, because I guess that's what that means. This is all over the place, and I didn't type the whole thing.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
In the context,
like, what the fuck is he actually trying to say in this? I have no idea. Because it says you took a nap and I made a decision, and I'm like, I mean, okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and I get the him saying like I got you off Earth.
Yeah.
I decided to support this because the part of your plan that was good was like getting you away from all those people. That part makes sense to me. But yeah, it's not very good Wolverine. But because the X-Men do as well, they also arrive.
Yep.
And they're like, they smack Wolverine in the face. Cyclops shoots him in the face and like get away from the girl. That's not going to happen. And it turns out who land, they get the little incoming voice from Iron Man's computer, and it's Thor. Thor lands on the side of the moon here on a big crater, which is not what happened in any of those Avengers things, but
super
maybe
confusing.
this is a different time Thor attacked.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? But it ends with the Phoenix Force manifesting itself right above the moon, above the X-Men and the Avengers, who are all like super shocked. Magic seems super excited, which I think is a very fun little detail.
Magic loves it. Yeah. Just like, hell yeah. All right.
Reading a bunch of X-Men leading up to this and like getting into all of the magic and soul gems and all this other crazy shit just makes me like Magic all the more. Like she's just dope as shit. So she would be very
I love
excited.
that she's in that Midnight Suns.
Yeah, I know. I'm super excited
coming
about
out.
that.
Yeah, we're talking about like being able to play it like as Magic is a really cool, exciting idea. Yeah, and that's the end of the issue. Phoenix is showing up. It's gonna be a while before we get back to this fight, I'm sure. We have a lot of catching up with on those punchings on Earth.
Yeah,
that we did not mess with at all.
We probably need to check in on the Iron Fist lore to find out where the
Sure.
Phoenix from 500 years ago or whatever is doing.
Yeah. What could be happening there? Hey, I just pray some people sit in front of a scrying pool for 3 or 4 pages. Do you think that's going to happen? Because I can't wait to see what's going on with that pool, and it's just not telling them more information. Again. I hate that comic.
It's not good. This was good. Like the main line of this all is good. I feel like if I was just reading the main lines of these, I would be super excited about this comic and everything that was happening. The idea of waiting 3 weeks to get to the next one is pretty wild to me, but that's how comic books work in the real world. So
yeah, no, luckily we don't have to do it.
No.
Yeah. Instead, we're just going to be gone for just a couple days. Or 2 weeks, depending on when you're listening to this on the early feed or on the regular feed. And we're going to be back with whatever comes up next. We're going to try to fuck with it and see if we can figure out what we should actually be reading. Because I have no idea.
And if you want to read these early, or excuse me, listen to these early, and you're listening to this on the public feed, you can get access to early feed episodes by going to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. A couple of bucks a month will get you early feed episodes from all the podcasts. It'll get you access to the Slack, a bunch of cool content. So please do that. We understand that it's a hell world right now. If you can't do that and you still want to support the show, then share it on various social medias or tell your friends about it. That helps out a lot. You can also leave reviews, which me and Gary definitely read all the time, every single one of them.
Yeah, because we don't care about our mental health. So I love opening myself up to people just having a direct line to making me feel bad.
Absolutely.
I know that you people who listen to this would never do that.
Of course not. No, that's a watch out for fireballs thing.
Bandicoot. Yeah. People who get mad about Crash Bandicoot sure do.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't think we got a bad review about that. Somebody on the message board did say that I specifically was a fucking idiot for thinking Crash Bandicoot was a bad game. So
wow.
It's actually really a horrible video game, though. Sorry to break it to that person and to anyone. Fucking Crash Bandicoot. Anywho, we'll be back.
We'll be back soon, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Yeah.